Growing up, Clara's life had never been ordinary, though she lived it as if it were. After the untimely death of her mother, when Clara was just 6, her grandmother, a powerful businesswoman who owned several companies, industries, and assets that span continents, took her in. Though Clara didn't fully understand the magnitude of what her grandmother controlled, she always knew one thing: love. Her grandmother, Evelyn, raised her with warmth and wisdom. She wasn't just a matriarch, she was a mentor, teaching Clara not only how to navigate the business world, but also how to live with humility and compassion. Clara had no idea that beneath the surface, Evelyn was preparing her for something far greater than the small, loving home they shared. As Clara grew into a young woman, Evelyn's health began to decline, and it was then that Clara learned the true scope of her inheritance. On her deathbed, Evelyn whispered to Clara, "All that I have built is yours, my dear. You are my legacy, and now it is time for you to take the reins." Clara didn't want the wealth. She had never been enamored by the trappings of luxury. She loved the simplicity of her life, of walking in the gardens, reading books in cozy corners, and spending quiet evenings with Evelyn. But as her grandmother's final gift to her, she was forced to take control of companies that stretched across continents, bringing her into a world of wealth and power she never sought. Evelyn's funeral was lavish, with business associates, dignitaries, and high-profile figures in attendance. But Clara stayed to herself. She quietly took over the family businesses, keeping her role as CEO of multi-billion-dollar industries a well-kept secret. No one knew that a humble young woman who lived in an ordinary house, drove a modest car, and wore simple clothes was, in one fact, one of the wealthiest women in the world. Welcome back to Esther's Tales channel. If it's your first time, please like, comment, and subscribe to always stay tuned. Years passed, and Clara's simple life continued. She married Nicholas, a charming, ambitious man who seemed to be a perfect match for her. Nicholas was everything Clara had hoped for: caring, intelligent, and driven. But soon after the wedding, Clara noticed subtle changes in his behavior. His long hours at work, frequent business trips, and mysterious phone calls began to raise her suspicions. Clara, believing in love and trust, refused to entertain thoughts of betrayal. She convinced herself that she was simply being paranoid. Meanwhile, Nicholas's family, knowing nothing of Clara's true wealth, treated her with disdain. They considered her a lucky girl from a rich family. And as the years went by, their mistreatment grew. They belittled her, criticized her for her simple lifestyle, and showed little respect for her opinions. The tension between Clara and her in-laws grew, but Clara remained silent. She had always believed in the power of kindness, of living humbly, and of loving without expectation. Little did she know her silence was about to break. One fateful evening, after a confrontation with Nicholas's mother, Clara discovered the truth. Nicholas had been having an affair. Furious and heartbroken, she confronted him, but he denied everything. It wasn't until Clara hired a private investigator that the full extent of the betrayal came to light. Nicholas had been seeing another woman for years, and his family had been complicit, seeing Clara only as a stepping stone for their own ambitions. But Clara wasn't just a lucky girl. She was a woman with the power to change everything. With the evidence in hand, Clara took control. She revealed to Nicholas and his family the truth. She was the owner of not just the companies they had always envied, but a vast fortune that could change their lives. She could destroy Nicholas and his family financially and socially with one move. But instead of retaliation, Clara chose to walk away. She filed for divorce, not for revenge, but for the freedom to live her life authentically. Clara returned to the quiet life she had once known. She sold the companies and donated the proceeds to causes she believed in: charities, education, and women's empowerment. In the end, Clara had not just inherited wealth, she had inherited the strength to live on her own terms. And though she kept her wealth a secret from the world, her real treasure lay in the lessons she had learned. The true value of life isn't in the money you inherit, but in the love you give and the life you chose to lead. Thank you for watching.